Hey, true believers. Chris Mack coming at you with Batman Curse the White Knight, #1. Now, this was a good read. This is the follow up series to the original Batman White Knight that came out a few years ago when the Joker kind of became sane and started running for a political seat and started calling out all of Batman's flaws. So, this is the follow up series, and it's good, but it's not as good as the original one. But then again, when is a sequel ever very rarely amount to what the original was. So, with that said, I really did enjoy this. It's a majority of the original creative team from the first arc. So, let's jump into this because there's a lot to talk about and a lot to appreciate. So, we open up and we just see this crazy man. It kind of looks like a Dr. Jekyll, or should I say Mr. Hyde, or, a vampire. And then we get this Orlando Bloom looking guy. Like every time I see him, he reminds me of a guy. I can't remember Orlando's character from Pirates of the Caribbean, but that's who that reminds me of. But anyway, you come to find out that this guy's that they're attacking. His name's Arkham. So you're just like, wait a minute, when did this get to be all swashbuckly? So you flip the page, and this is where, with this series, that I will give you kind of a spoiler to an extent. There's a lot of shifting back and forth between modern and the past, and that's because it amounts to what the Joker does. So you get to know Edmund Arkham, Edmund Wayne, Lafayette Arkham, and then this guy, I can't remember what his name is. They haven't introduced his name yet in the series, but just know that this old dude here is important too. So this takes place around 1685, shows Arkham Manor, and just look at Sean Gordon Murphy's artwork. I love his style. Now, to kind of clarify as well here, cats, Sean Gordon Murphy, this book follows what he calls the Murphyverse, and this is kind of a deviation of the Batman the Animated Series. Excuse me. So, a lot of what happens, like in terms of the way the characters act, etc., so forth, are derived from the original animated series. So I just want to let y'all know this is kind of an alternate reality in a way, but not really. But yeah, so I kind of like that Mr. Murphy here has kind of created his own universe, and I just love this panel here, the very noir way the Arkham Asylum and the land is just cast in shadow behind a blood red sky because it's very ominous, foreshadowing. And it reminds me of something like Mike Mignola would do in Hellboy. I think that's ultimately what gets me excited about it. So you flip to the credits page, and you kind of see everything that's going to be going on with this book. And again, excellent artwork. And kind of the three main players are shown here. And of course, Sean Murphy, script, art, covers. Matt Hollingsworth, colors and cover colors. And World's Design letters. And I love this kind of mixture of black and white with color. Reminds me of how they utilized it for the Sin City film. If memory serves correctly, I'm not 100% sure. If I'm wrong, make sure to make fun of me down in the comments. But I don't remember Frank Miller using color in the original Sin City comics. I thought it was all black and white. I could be wrong, but I did like the use of the color in the movie. That's kind of one of the things that made that work. Same here, and that's kind of what I'm getting at. And the story, this one feels very much like a horror film compared to the first one, where there was a lot of, felt more intrigue and political espionage, which was interesting. But this one feels like it gets to be a lot more supernatural. And both characters, both the Joker and Bruce, start to feel like they're more than what they are, as where, Batman's just a crime fighter. He finds something that dates his family back to the time we were just going over with Edmund. And he finds this chest. The chest is left by Alfred. Sadly, spoiler alert if you've not read White Knight, but in the last series, Alfred dies. Alfred's kind of on this, cryogenic infusion that's supposed to slow down whatever was killing him. And Bruce and Mr. Freeze are working together. Batman gets damaged beyond repair Alfred wakes up to see it, and Alfred sacrifices his treatment for Bruce, and in doing so sacrifices his own life. And it hits you hard. Eventually we will go over it, but I just wanted to kind of show you the magnitude of Alfred's death in this series. It was poignant, it was heartfelt, and it made a heck of a lot more sense than what happened during King's run. Anyway, so there's this chest. And then again, the Joker says it in Arkham, deep in the depths of Arkham. That's where he found himself, per se. And man, look at the pencil work here and the use of the colors. You find that the guy that was hurt, that is the warden of Arkham. And just look at the way Batman's like, "Where's the Joker?" Instead of saying, "Where's the," what was it in, oh God, what was it? The Dark Knight Rises. "Where's the trigger?" Or whatever it was. Here, this looks more terrifying than Christian Bale. But yeah, it's just great artwork overall. And that's really what starts to hit you with this series. And again, Gordon and Batman go into the depths of Arkham to find out what Joker was up to. This leads to a lot of what the plot is about, which I do not want to give away. But again, just look at this artwork. The way the Joker is just sitting in this lady's chair, just large and in charge, thinking he runs the place. I don't know, just in the angle, the upward angle, the way he just holding his long gun, the grin on his face. It's just something about that panel that invokes just the type of, authority that the Joker can hold. But there's something this lady says that shows that she's not going to take no shenanigans from the Joker. Now, we are introduced to Jean-Paul Valley. And if you guys remember, from pre-Flashpoint, during Nightfall, when Batman got his back broken by Bane, they chose this guy named Jean-Paul Valley to take over the mantle of Batman. Jean-Paul Valley was kind of one of those ones he was programmed by the Order of Saint Dumas, where he was, in his mind, he'd see these visions of this holy war that he has to fight. And sadly, when he takes over the mantle of Batman, a lot of his programming from Dumas takes over and he starts to go bat crap crazy. That's the main universe, well, the original universe, as I like to think of it. In this Murphyverse, Jean-Paul Valley is an ex-military dying from cancer. And they don't really go into it, but you start to see that he has a lot of flashbacks. It seems like PTSD, but they're like nightmares. And I don't want to give away too much more there or about the main plot. But I do want to show you this. I love the symbolism here where this is Joker shrouded in shadow. And he says, you're not fulfilling your destiny. You're a king, the rightful heir to Gotham. The sickness, the ghosts in your nightmares. God hasn't been torturing you. He's been preparing you. God needs you, Azrael. And just love this panel. Look at this. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous artwork. So yeah, I don't want to give away too much of the plot. I did want to talk about how this book is the first introduction of Azrael into this Murphyverse. How the Joker is kind of still the main threat. What Batman's going through. So yeah, I highly recommend that you guys go back and read Batman White Knight. And then move forward here and read Curse of the White Knight. Because like I said, the first one has like political intrigue. Excuse me. And a lot of other good little tidbits that just made that first book a absolute sensation. This one, I feel it came too quick on the heels of its predecessor, and I kind of feel like Murphy should have reeled it in, and again, maybe let this one go a couple years later. I think he waited like maybe a year, but he announced it. I kind of feel like they should have taken the time, because when it first came out, everyone was just sort of like, lackluster. But again, I put this one back, waited, sat on it, reread it, and now I'm more invested now that it's had time to age. So that's my personal opinion. What do you guys think of this book? If you've enjoyed it, please first and foremost support your local comic shop. If you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little Joker bell next to subscribe. That way, as we continue to upload content, you guys will get notified and you can come to the channel. And we love talking with y'all and hearing your feedback down in the comments below or on our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope y'all continue to have a bat-tastic day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.